Hello YouTube! Today I'm going to be starting a new series where I want to go through every mechanic within Torchlight Infinite and just make guides for all of them. I feel there's not a lot of good resources right now, like, on the internet for Torchlight. In particular, if you're a brand new player, it can be a bit overwhelming when you, like, start the game off and you see there's, like, 5 trillion different mechanics you can farm to know what mechanic does what, how all of them are related. And while I do have written guides for the various mechanics within my own guides, they're a bit nestled to actually find, so I decided to just make some videos instead for people to follow. So the first mechanic that we'll be talking about today is going to be the Blacksail mechanic. Now the Blacksail mechanic is entirely related to Euro memories. So the Euro memory system, you probably already know, if you press H on your character, it opens up this menu where you can see the various Euro memories. And then you can, like, choose between them and whatnot. All of these Euro memories that you see, the materials used to, like, upgrade them, as well as the materials used to re-roll the affixes on them, are related to the Blacksail mechanic. The only exception to this is the brand new revival system. This revived affix and, like, the revival things, as well as the new revival material, is not related to Blacksail. This is related to Lunaria. But Euro memories, scraps, and threads are all from Blacksail. So the way the Blacksail mechanic works is when you enter a map, you're going to see flames on your minimap. So while you're going through the map, let me just quickly turn off my automation so we can see it. While you're running through your map, you'll occasionally see on your map these, like, purple flame icons, like these. These mobs are carrying the Blacksail flames that show, they're carrying the options that show up at the end of the map on the anchor. So when you're mapping and you're doing Blacksail, it is important that you go through and you actually kill all of the flames to get every single option to show up in the end anchor. And then once you've cleared the map and you kill the boss, this anchor is going to show up. This is a plain anchor. And it's going to allow you to interact with the Void Sea flames that you collected throughout the map. And a lot of them are going to have these basic options like 6 additional rare trinkets, 1 additional fluorescent memory. But it's also possible then to spec into them to have additional whisper options. There's 4 whisper options that you can spec into: Whispers of Armament, Whispers of Wealth, Boss Whispers, and Whispers of Wonder. So Whispers of Armament is essentially just going to be getting more Euro memories. The amount of Euro memories that you get from the end chest is just going to increase. Whispers of Wealth is going to be the materials used to upgrade those memories. So that's going to be memory threads and memory scraps. Boss Whispers is going to be an invitation to the Void Boss, the Pirate Void Boss, which is also exclusive to Blacksail. And Whispers of Wonder is going to be just Quantum Rarity, just very generic Quantum Rarity. Now, these Whispers are guaranteed to show up on the end anchor if you spec into them, except for the Boss Whisper. The Boss Whisper is not guaranteed to show up. It is a 50% chance on whether or not it will spawn into the map. Now, once you finish the plain anchor, you can open the plain anchor menu, and you'll then have options show up. Now, we chose the Boss Whisper, so we're guaranteed to have at least 1 Boss Whisper spawn in the plain anchor, but the other options do not necessarily have to be this Boss Whisper. So in our case, we got Whisper of Wonder and Whisper of Wonder, as well as the Boss Whisper. Whisper of Wonder is just giving us drop rarity or, just generic things. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose the Boss Whisper, because that's what we went for. And I'll run it again. Now I'm actually able to run this twice. Normally you would only be able to run once. I can run twice because I did put in a compass, but I'll get to the compass later and explain how it works. So here again, we have Wealth, Wonder, and then the Boss Whisper. Now, once you have done 6 of these plain anchors, you'll then be able to fight the boss. this is not the same boss as the Void boss. The Void boss is a separate entity, but this is the generic mapping loop where you do 6 maps, you fill in your plane anchor, and then you fight the boss. And once you kill the boss, you get like your big reward at the end of everything. In this case, we didn't get a boss invite, which is quite unfortunate. But we did get some memory thread epics as well as some scraps. So with all of that being said, there is some more niche nuances that I want to explain about the mechanic. The first thing is, when you do run the mechanic, the difficulty that you do it on matters, because it will gain a level. So let me just do another quick map and then showcase that to you. Now, the way the level system works is essentially just in Tarmok 1, if you do Blacksail, it will be level 1. In Tarmok 2, it will be level 2, all the way up until Tarmok 8. In Tarmok 8, it will be level 8 that you get. And then if you do Profound, like I'm doing right now, it is still going to be it's still going to be level 8. There is no reward from doing this mechanic in Profound versus Tarmok 8, unfortunately. Also, just to point out, we did not get a boss whisper, but the other 3 whispers we did get because they're always guaranteed to drop. And then if you do this mechanic on D-Space, it will actually go to level 9. So let's just take just generic drop count, because why not? So do you see how this says difficulty 8? This means that this is now set to Tarmok 8 in terms of loot. And there is one difficulty above this, which is difficulty 9, but you can only get that by running this mechanic in a deep space map. And this difficulty will always take your highest option. What I mean by that is if I were to run this in Tarmok 7, it would say difficulty 7. But if I run a single Tarmok 8 map, it will actually upgrade the entire thing to difficulty 8. So even if I fill in the rest of these now in Tarmok 7, it will still be difficulty 8. Hell, I could even do this in Tarmok 1 if I wanted to. It's still going to be difficulty 8. Because it always takes your highest difficulty that you did it in. And you don't have to start off on the highest difficulty. You can finish it off on the highest difficulty as well. Now, to just quickly talk about the different wonders. This mechanic does have the boss whisper, which I showed to you. So the boss whisper has a 30% chance of showing up in the map. And it will then allow you to get Void Sea invitations. These Void Sea invitations you will use on the Great Void boss. So if you go into the Great Void options, it doesn't actually let me to go back. That's a bit annoying. How do you swap this to a different boss? What? How do you swap this to like a different boss? Oh, there. So if you go into the Great Void, you'll have all these bosses. The Blacksail boss is this one, the Shattered Blacksail, Lord of the Sea. And then from mapping, we drop these Void Sea Invitation Cravings. Now, if you run the boss, you can actually see its loot. If you run it on tier 1, which is just the Void Sea Invitation Craving, it has a chance to drop the Void Sea Invitation Ecstasy. And then if you put in the first invitation and the second invitation, you can then have a chance. You then do the tier 2 boss, which have these drops, and you have a chance to drop the Void Sea Invitation Sorrow, which is the tier 3 invitation. And you can put in all 3 invitations to fight the tier 3 boss then, which is the highest difficulty. So let me just quickly showcase each boss fight here. So this is the tier 1 fight, which generally on leaguestart this boss is pretty easy to do. You can do it on basically no gear at all. And it is one of the better ways to form Void Hero memories like early on. Like this time around, we got a orange Hero memory. Unfortunately though, it does have awful stance. Then we can do the tier 2 invitation to fight the tier 2 boss, which now has a chance to drop this End of the Past. This is like the big thing that you want to get for, because it will give you a random ultimate Hero memory, which is the red ones, with +2 to your trait level, which is a very, very valuable and highly sought after trait. Or like aspect of your memories that you want to have.
The destruction I bring is everywhere.
Oh my god, we're getting so unlucky with our damage though. We're not skipping any phases. Oh! This is beginning of the pass. This is the other card that can drop. And this will give us a random level 86 ultimate Euro memory. How many do we need to collect? Oh, it's just 1 for 1, so we can just turn this in and get an ultimate Euro memory. And then lastly, we have the tier 3 Void Boss. This one is quite tanky. You do need a few trillion damage to be able to do him. I'm not exactly sure how many trillions though. But as you can see, 15 trillion is like making short work of it. If I'm even at 15 trillion right now. Actually, I don't think I'm at 15 trillion. Surprisingly. This fight's pretty simple though. If you've done it on Supreme Showdown 20, you know exactly how the fight works at all points in time. And it's very much similar to the Supreme Showdown 20 fight. So it's no big deal with my damage. And those are the 3 tiers of Void Boss that you can fight. Now then, let me go into the different Whispers beyond that. On top of that, we also have access to Whisper of Wealth. Whisper of Wealth is going to give you more threads or scraps. So the materials that you use to upgrade your memories, it will give you more of those. It should be noted that the orange memory threads only drop from level 8 and above. So you do need to do at least 1 map in Atomic 8 every anchor, or like every set, to be able to get the orange ones instead of getting the purple ones. Whispers of Armament give you more Euro memories. This is basically this is what people run when they just want to drop like 50 Euro memories and then pray that one of them is like a good one. And Whispers of Wonder just gives you generic quant and rarity. Now, quant and rarity is actually very interesting. There's 2 strategies that people do with this. You can either just go for generic quant to try and get like good compasses and things, or you can go for rarity to try and get like very high quality Euro memories. Because the rarity does affect the quality of the Euro memories that you get. Now, this mechanic does have access to 2 compasses. You have access to the blue compass, which just spawns the anchors in your map. This essentially is just good for allowing you to not waste, basically, these 15 points picking into the mechanic. And then there's also the purple compass, which it has a bonus of giving you a 100% chance to spawn an additional plane anchor. So instead of taking 6 maps to get to like the end boss and spawn the big bad guy, you only do 3 maps, and then every 3 map set, you can fight the final boss. Or, you know, you can fight the end boss, or like get your big treasure chest at the end of the tunnel. So this just halves the amount of maps needed. Now, Blacksail is a very interesting mechanic. It's actually a very, very, very strong league start mechanic that people do like for the first few days of the league. Because very early into the league, all of these like random orange memories that like nobody cares about right now are actually extremely valuable. And a lot of them you'll be able to sell for a decent amount. Because people will be like paying 50, 100 FA a pop for like any like just 1 modded orange memory. Or like even just 2 good, like 2 decent mobs. Like this is cast speed with damage and cast speed. this, like, day 1, day 2 of the league is still going to sell for something. It's also valuable to just, in general, get yourself the upgrade materials, because scraps and memory threads are very important for upgrading your memories. And especially early on, you need quite a lot of scraps and quite a lot of memory threads in order to, like, get 50 out of 50 or to get 40 out of 40 on your hero memories. So people are quite keen to farm them, and as the season goes on, the value of your memories do tend to go down, because just doing mapping in general, you will just naturally run into a lot of memory scraps and memory threads. They do not exclusively drop from Blacksail, which unfortunately does mean that Blacksail tends to get worse as the season goes on, but it doesn't mean that, like, you can't farm it at all. There are people that will farm it from season start until season end. Now, how do you, like, use Blacksail? How do you strategize around it? Generally speaking, the way that people will treat Blacksail is it's just an addition to other mechanics they're running. The Blacksail tree does not need a lot of points, because generally speaking, what you'll do is you'll decide on a niche that you want to invest into. So let's say that you want to do Whispers of Wealth to try and get scraps and memory threads. It'll then be very common to not take any other points at all in this tree and simply drop all of these points and only put these 8 points into Whispers of Wealth. Because every time you go do the mechanic, all you care about is picking up the Whispers of Wealth, so nothing else matters. And if you couple this with a compass, you can even drop the spawn chance points, and you end up with a mechanic that only needs 8 points to gain its value from its mapping. Because it takes so few points to do Blacksail, it's very easy to just do this in tandem with other mechanics, especially mechanics that just don't need a lot of compasses to be good, where you can very easily just slap the purple or the blue compass in, and this is just a bonus to whatever you're already farming to make a lot of extra money with. This is not a mechanic that is often done exclusively as, like, your main source of revenue. It tends to very frequently just be in addition to other strategies. What are good strategies to combine Blacksail with? Well, there's quite a few. It's kind of difficult to pinpoint down any specific mechanic, because any strategy that's just quick and doesn't take a lot of points, like Goddess of Hunting, for example, is very good to combine with Blacksail, because they just naturally sync together in the sense of you're just trying to do quick maps and do as many maps per hour as possible. That being said, though, there is some optimizations that can be done with Blacksail that makes it a bit more interesting. The first optimization is one that I already alluded to. One of the most efficient ways to make a lot of money doing Blacksail, especially early into a season, is to go into Tarmok 7 and choose a very, very short map. A good example of a very short map would be Prayer Sanctuary. Let's just buy some beacons. Oh, and the reason why this is, like, a good strat is because you can buy beacons for Netherrealm Resonance. So it's very easy to, early into the league, to get Tarmok 7 beacons, because you just spec into Netherrealm Resonance and you can self-sustain your beacons. But Tarmok 8 beacons tend to be a lot more difficult, because they tend to be like 3, 4, 5 FE early into the season. And because they cost so much FE, you can't really, like, run them, you know? I bought the wrong beacons. Damn. Okay, I'm just buying 4 of each, I don't care. Because I don't remember. Okay, so then a very common strat that, like, people tend to do early into the season is they will spec into Blacksail. You know, you put your points into Blacksail, you put some points maybe in another mechanic that you want to farm. And let's say you're doing Whispers of Wealth Blacksail. And then in the drop quantity constellation, you fully spec into Netherrealm Resonance. And probably should also spec into, like, you know, Embers and things, because Embers will tend to be very valuable early into the season. Then you go into your Tarmok 7, you choose a very short layout. Prayer Sanctuary is a very good example of a short layout map. And you just get in the map, run straight to the end. You don't even bother full clearing the map. Kill the boss, do the Blacksail. Prayer Sanctuary is not the map I thought it was, by the way. The map you want to do is Chapel. Chapel is the best map for this. And by doing this strat... Where's Chapel? That's Chapel. And by doing this strategy, you can get as many maps per hour in as possible, which is very, very efficient. And after you do 5 maps of just Time Rock 7, just rushing to the end of the map, doing the shortest layout possible, you can then do 1 Time Rock 8 map to upgrade your Blacksail from being difficulty 7 to difficulty 8. And then you run the Time Rock 8 boss. And doing it that way, you're essentially able to get the Time Rock 8 reward as if you did 6 maps of Time Rock 8 for the cost of only 1 Time Rock 1 map. So, just to make an illustration of that, for every 6 maps, you run times 5 T7 map, short fast layout, and then times 1 T8 map, to upgrade from difficulty 7 to difficulty 8. And if you do this, it allows you to always fight the difficulty 8 boss, which gives significantly better rewards than the difficulty 7 boss, at the cost of only 1 beacon. And as a bonus to this, it also allows you to get a lot of star shards in Time Rock 7, which is then used to get more Time Rock 8 maps. Because very early into the season, Time Rock 8 maps just tend to be expensive. So minimizing the amount you have to run can actually net you a lot of profit. And this is a very, very good strategy. I've done it before in the past. It is one of the better early game forms that you can do in this game. But there's actually a deep space variant of this strategy, which I think is also worth looking at. So you can upgrade this strategy to deep space using the purple compass. So I mentioned before that the purple compass allows you to get 2 plane anchors from 1 map, right? You get a second plane anchor in every map. So what you can actually do, if you want to be really smart and clever about it, is... Where's the Plane Watcher NPC? Okay, let's just run another map quickly.
Who wants to be our smells like a spilled bottle of the worst perfume imaginable. True strength never sits on it is in the roots of the very plants you trample.
So here's a strategy you can do to upgrade it to difficulty 9 if you want to do this mechanic later into the season. Is what you can do is you can get to this point where you're at 5 out of 6 on your plane anchor. Then, at 5 out of 6 on plane anchor, use purple compass and enter deep space map. Clear first anchor. Choose reward, then fight difficulty 9 boss, TP back to map, do second anchor, then downgrade back down to Time Mark 8. Do remaining 5 out of 6 to fight a second difficulty 9 boss. And what that allows you to do is, for the cost of 1 for the cost of 1 deep space beacon, you can get... Also, is my ass in the way? Let me just move myself. So for the cost of 1 deep space beacon, you can fight / get the rewards from ×2 difficulty 9 bosses, which is the maximum difficulty that this mechanic can go into. I don't know if I'm gonna have a reroll token. Okay, we do not have a reroll token for deep space, unfortunately. So I can't actually showcase it. I mean, I guess I can. Hopefully this is fine.
Wait, we will go inside.
Of course, we have, like, the absolute worst layout known to mankind.
Oops, painkillers are gone. You don't mind a little raw science, do you?
Oh, we are not spec'd into Blacksail right now, so it is not going to, like, give us the Whisper of Wonder Flame, unfortunately. Because I didn't have any reroll tokens for deep space. But that should be fine.
To wilt is also to be fragrant.
Did I not put in the deep... Did I not put in the... What? Did I not put in the... I put in the wrong compass! Oh my god, I'm stupid. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Give me a bit. Ow! Don't throw nuts at me! Ow! 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 What the fuck? We're experiencing technical difficulties and you're throwing nuts at me. I don't do well under stress.
Wait, do you see
Oh no.
along? I'll just add your stats to my official record of day.
Wait, did I put in the correct compass? Oh no. Wait, did I put in the correct compass? Oh, I did. Okay. So, because we did put in the compass, we can now do 1 Void Sea Flame here. Clear it out.
A middle note of sickness and a base note of permanent paralysis.
Finish the anchor. Choose our reward. And now we have difficulty 9 boss, which we can TP in and do. Which is pretty tanky. Get our difficulty 9 reward. And TP back to the map. TP back into the map.
Ooh, I just thought of something
To then
genius.
do the anchor again. And spawn the second difficulty 9 anchor.
You are just like those fake
And now because we did this,
textbooks.
we can now drop down to Tarmac 7, Tarmac 8, Tarmac whatever, and it's going to stay at difficulty 9. So at the cost of 1 deep space map, we can get a difficulty 9 boss twice in a row. So those are the 2 strategies you can do. Doing the ×5 Tarmac 7 into ×1 Tarmac 8 is like the biggest strategy that people use. It's a very, very efficient way to make a lot of currency in this game. But if you do want to try and take this strategy like into the end game and stuff, this is definitely something you can consider. With all of that being said, there's one thing I have not spoken about yet, and that is the Blacksail pet. The Blacksail pet is the Starfish Chanter. And it has this effect that gives you additional Euro memory enhancement item drop quantity, additional Euro memory drop quantity, and gives you a chance to get doubled the effect of your like end reward. So essentially, when you open up, instead of giving you 37% drop rarity, it's gonna give you 74% drop rarity. This pet is most efficient at level 1 and at level 6. It does not gain much, if anything at all, from level 2 to level 5. I'm not sure exactly how drop quantity affects this mechanic, but generally speaking, mechanics like these that are just like drop quantity tend to be completely useless for like the mechanics that they're in. Generally, the only thing that actually matters for drop quantity is things that like specify like additional euro memory. So this pet is best at level 1 and level 6. And as you can see from mine, I only have a level 1 because I don't think you need anything more than that to run Blacksail. Also, this entire time I have been running without the pet just because I'm out of space, so I don't really have anywhere to put her. And I kind of forgot about that. But anyway, that's going to be my full explanation and guide on playing the Blacksail mechanic. Now, I do want to give actually a shout out to someone who made a very, very good Reddit thread where they made their own Blacksail mechanic guide. This person, Cake of W, actually did make a Blacksail guide 15 days ago, which details a lot more about the different mechanics. It talks about like the Darksail, the deep space mechanic that I talked about, but it also talks about the different like priorities when farming. There's imitation farming, which we already covered. It's just the boss whispers. There's euro memory farming. Now, very interesting about euro memory farming is that any like adjustments to like drop rarity or like trying to upgrade your euro memories only applies to the base euro memories. So what I mean by that is points that give you like additional euro memory drop quant is not affected by drop rarity. Only your base euro memories that are being dropped is affected by drop rarity. And then he also talks about just treasure quant stacking. Now, treasure quant stacking is definitely a unique way of doing it. Essentially, you're just stacking quant, as much quant as possible, to try and get like compasses and things, and turn it more into a compass and pure FE form rather than like a euro memory form. I've never tried it myself, so I can't say about how good it is, but he did outline it, so I thought it was interesting to mention. But with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. And this was my Blacksail guide. It was a bit hefty. I think there's quite a lot to, discuss and talk about. But that is unfortunately just the game of Torchlight, where every mechanic does tend to have a lot of hidden complexity in it, where it's not necessarily like difficult to understand or hard to remember or realize. It's just a lot to like go through and talk about. As for people who are like brand new to the game and haven't played around with the mechanics yet and aren't familiar with them yet. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you so much for watching, YouTube. Bye bye. Bye, YouTube. Bye bye.